Hey Cyrus, thanks for joining. C. Parker, hello. So I need to clean up some of these loose lines first, so I can get into some details. Love a needed eraser, but I really need to work it in for it to work properly, because otherwise I find they leave smudges, and those smudges don't come out. So this isn't meant to look like Brie Larson, I believe that's her name. That's just random face. And the Captain Marvel costume. I guess in retrospect I should have recorded the sketch phase as well, but I forgot. I just realized that I wanted to do a video today halfway through, so I was like, oh shit. So that's where we are. Peach also. That Paul. Okay. It's not working very well. Let's bring out the tough stuff. Okay, so I think that's pretty. Where's that stuck there? That's pretty good. So now back with the kneaded eraser, I'm just going to roll it around. It'll just soften all the lines that I need behind, so I don't have any hard edges right off the bat. Hopefully I don't tear the paper. Just using copy paper here, which is soft at best. See, it's leaving enough. Alright, so I'm just going to block in the main shaded areas. Then lithography, hello. I'm doing this very lightly with 2H pencil, just so it leaves a very soft line. Thanks, Dan. Let's see if we can do something about the lights here. I really think the next time I should put the light on this side. So so it doesn't. I don't cast a shadow with my pencil, but just take a note of that. Every time I do one of these, I discover something. Discover something that I could do better with the camera and the lighting setup for these videos. Sketch Card Jack, hi. Thanks for joining in. Hi, Ashley. The hairline's getting a lot of control there. Yeah. Go on, Digos. I think only 2 people in the world knows what that means. Glad he got it. Four people? Oh, right. Now that I think of who. It was an inside joke. Hey, Sarge. I think I realized you were on Instagram. This is a 2-hour epic music on YouTube. It's called The Power of Epic Music Best of Collection Volume 3. Here, I'll send you, I'll Facebook you the link if you want to listen to the same stuff. There you go. It's really pretty chill. Sirkai Art, thanks for joining. Okay, I don't know how we're doing on time, but I'm spending way too long on the details in the suit when really I should focus on the face because that's what matters. So let me grab a piece of paper from back here so I don't smudge too much. Like I said, I'm using just plain copy paper because it works for a sketch. Some things. So I'm smudging with my finger, which is a big no-no, but it works. I would never do this on a commission or final piece because you end up just filling the paper with the grease from your fingers. But it really is a quick way to blend, and for some reason, well, I know the reason, I sharpened the pencil so I'm getting hard edges. Is this, do I have a, oh. So for this kind of stuff, you actually want a dull edge on the pencil so you can get a soft a soft edge on your lines. You don't want hard lines. And I am getting hard lines, so you can see a little bit there and there, which is something I don't really want. And try to do very softly with the pens, with the tip as is, but I don't know if that's going to work. Nope. So blend the finger. Not ideal, but it works. I'm just checking some emails quickly. So I've mentioned this in my other videos. I find that when doing a sketch or anything like this, drawing in general, because we're so familiar with the human face, because we look at faces every day, it's very important to, as an artist or illustrator, cartoonist, whatever, to spend the time to build out the detail and toning, colors, whatever it is, depending on your drawing style, on the face. Because as long as the face looks good, Everything else doesn't matter as much. So, as I mentioned earlier, I was spending too much time rendering down here in the costume, which is great. Great, and I can get lost in that and spend tons of time, but only have an hour for an Instagram video, and I don't want to spend it rendering the star on her costume. I'd much rather get some more detail in the face and build out the details here, make sure that I got a nice definition for the shadows and to create some forms, because that way, whether I want it or not, the focal point is going to be the face because it's a portrait. So first thing anyone's going to look at or recognize, associate with is the face. So what I would say is, whenever doing a drawing, that's just my advice, spend at least of a portrait, spend at least half the time rendering the facial details, and that doesn't include hair. Hair you can get away with by just gesturing what's there, and just for the record, eyebrows aren't hair, they're a facial feature. If there's no eyebrows, it'll look silly. Unless the character without eyebrows, in which case it's meant to look that way. Like if you're doing Voldemort or who else doesn't have eyebrows? Suicide Squad Joker. He doesn't have eyebrows, but he does have definition from where they would go, because the skull casts a shadow there. It's actually the part that I'm shading right now underneath the eyebrows. That's the shadow from the eye socket. See what I mean? This is a skull. Well, that's really close. There's always a shadow here because their skin wraps around it, and the eyebrows come over here, roughly. And if anyone asks, that's a dollar store skull. Cost $1.50 at Halloween, and it's actually pretty good. It's fairly anatomically correct compared to the $249 ones you could buy on Amazon that are actually certified anatomically correct. This one does the job just right. Especially just for reference, for illustration purposes, or comic book art or whatnot. So now all those shadows that I blocked in at the beginning, and it's, hopefully you can see it on camera, I'm just filling them in. I'm trying to keep an even amount of pressure on the pencil, just to try to avoid getting those lines that I was talking about. Like there's one right there, you might not be able to see it, but because the pencils or the lead in this 2mm holder is really sharp, I went a little too hard and I got a line, which I guess I could have erased, but like I mentioned, a little strapped for time, and I would like to get this to a point where I'm happy with throughout the video, so I can capture the whole process. Don't want to get lost in the details of the ears because it doesn't really matter. Only thing I do want to make sure is that the ears are roughly positioned the same, and this one's a little bit higher. Actually, now that I look of it, this side is a little bit higher too. which are not the worst things because nobody's face is perfect. I wish I caught that earlier though. I would have fixed it. Let's see if I can do it just by thickening this one's higher, so this one needs a thicker eyelash. Hey Mike. Bye, Mike. I do want to get some shadow, some form in the star, so how are we for time? I think we got 20 minutes or so. So, let me work my way down there. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for joining in, too. Okay, so the light is, the way I've set the light is that it's primarily coming from the left. To do that, let's just define a little bit more form on this side. So if the light's coming in more this way, all of the right shards of the stars are going to be in core shadow. And also the right side of the star is also going to be darker because light's here. This part, actually, since the light's coming this way, this spot right here is going to be the brightest than this one. So on this part, because it's underneath the light, I'm going to do the shadow here. And I'm trying to keep all my strokes parallel to one of the edges. So in this case, this edging. Try to keep it parallel to that. And this part, let's keep it parallel to this. And I find it easier to try to follow the short edge. In this case, this line versus, well, this is a short piece anyways. I could work on either side. So this is in shadow. Whoops, yeah, I messed that up there. Now here's going to be a little tricky because if the light's coming this way... Hi, Michael. If the light's coming this way, this piece is going to cast a shadow on this chevron or whatever this is, but the right part is also in shadow because, well, the light's coming this way, and I missed this piece here. Let's do it. And the shadow's is not gonna catch the whole edge because the light coming in this way, it's gonna highlight this piece right about there, which is where the light would fall this way, if that makes sense. I'll watch this later and ask myself what the hell was I talking about, but it makes sense to me as I'm doing it. So hopefully it makes sense to someone else that's watching. And this piece is casting a shadow here. Hello, Ricemel. Oh, well, I'm glad it makes sense to someone. Adrian's Doodles. Well, thanks for joining. So I'm just gonna apologize in advance if this cuts off. I didn't not tracking the time on this properly, and I know that there's a 1 hour limit as to an Instagram video. So hopefully I see the notice on screen and can say bye. But if it cuts off, sorry. Thanks for joining, whoever joined. I'll post the video as a story for 24 hours if anyone wants to watch it, and I'll see if I can get off the phone and post it on YouTube as well. I've done that a couple of times. I don't always remember to hit the save button, and the problem with the Instagram app is that if you don't hit save right when the video's over, it's forever gone into the ether, if you will. Oh, I could spend hours rendering this star. Hey Kevin, thanks for joining in. Age Artworks, welcome. Okay, so I'm just going to try to refine some of these edges. Just flipping the lead because the other tip is sharper. So I can get a finer line. Just have to remember to flip if I would try to do any rendering again. So someone asked earlier what I'm using, and this is plain copy paper, and this is Staedtler Mars Technic, whatever, 2mm lead holder with 2H lead. The reason I use this is because actually I like the shape of the pencil, and I like this little piece here. I prefer to use a normal pencil, but I find the wood's hard on my fingers. You can see it's starting to get a little, well, have a bump there. That's from Pencils and Pens. Thanks, Age Artworks. So I find that this piece with kind of like the rugged edge is a little bit more comfortable to hold. Also, the pencil is actually very well balanced. You can buy this at Staples. They're like $8 or $9. I've had this one for a very long time. As you can see, that all the lettering's faded. They'll last forever, honestly. And then the lead, again, you can just buy it at Staples or Michaels, or I think even Walmart sells it. Nothing special. The lead will last a long time as well. Gets a lot of lead, and you can get a fancy sharpener, but it does have a sharpener at the tip. I don't know if you can, right there. Works great. So that's my product review. Like I said, copy paper, because why not? Really, unless you're doing ink or colors like Copic or watercolor or oil or whatever, you don't really need any special supplies. Oh, I'm just getting a warning on my phone that the battery's on its way out. So, yeah, like I said, hopefully it doesn't just turn off. But if it does, it is what it is. Really want to get these eyes more equally sized. So one way to do this after you block them in is to just the eyelashes or the eyeliner, especially with female eyes, because you can get away with thick black lines because mascara and eyelashes and all that makeup-y stuff. Yes, I said makeup-y stuff. And really the last piece that I really want to make sure I get in this drawing is a little bit of shading on the eyeball. I'm not giving her the iris because it's Captain Marvel and she's glowing with power. But I also don't want to leave it blank, like solid white, because there's an eyeball in there, and an eyeball is a sphere, and a sphere as form. But just adding some edge shadows like that. Makes a big difference. Need to flip back to the not so sharp edge of the pencil. There we go. Okay, I think we're almost out of time here, so I will wrap it up for today. Thanks everyone who joined. I'll try to do another one next week or earlier. If you have any questions or anything, message me. And that's it. This is our Captain Marvel for this week.